Political analyst Ross Feingold is joining us now to discuss some of the latest developments from Taiwan. Good to see you, Ross.
Good evening.
Now, Ching-te is now president-elect of Taiwan after a hard-fought race in which Beijing made its preference for his opponents clear. Now, moving forward, how can Taipei best negotiate another rocky period with China?
I think it's safe to say that Taiwan is going to continue to look to the United States, and beyond the United States, countries like Japan and Australia, which are nearby, and our fellow democracies and are friendly towards Taiwan. So Taiwan's not going to look to negotiate directly with China. In any event, China's not going to negotiate with the government of President-elect Lai once he takes office. So that leaves Taiwan with working with the United States for the most part. The United States is really the only country that supplies weapons, that does joint training with Taiwan's military. And we assume it's the only country that will come to Taiwan's assistance if there is a military conflict with China. So that really leaves Taiwan pretty much with doing what it's been doing over the past 8 years, cultivating that relationship with democracies like the US, Japan, Australia, and Western Europe, but knowing that the one reliable security partner ultimately is only the United States.
Now, the aftermath of the election allows the United States and Taiwan the opportunity to advance their relations. What role do you think Washington can play now, and what should it avoid?
Well, most likely the United States will continue to make weapons available to Taiwan for purchase and in some cases for donation. The problem with purchasing weapons from the United States right now for Taiwan is that a lot of its previous orders in the last few years are delayed because of the war in Ukraine, and priority has gone and will continue to go to Ukraine, and that means delivery for Taiwan has been delayed. The other thing the United States could do is continue to deepen the economic and trade relationship that it has with Taiwan, which is already a very strong relationship. Taiwan is one of the U.S. top importers and exporters for both sides. They have a very important trade relationship. But the United States has been persuading companies in Taiwan to reshore or friendshore some of their production to places outside of China, whether that's Vietnam or other countries in Southeast Asia, or even to the United States. There are examples of that as well. And I think just symbolism kinds of actions. For the Taiwan side, those are very important. I mean, those of us looking at it from afar might think it's not such a big deal. But for Taiwan, it's a big deal when the United States persuades other countries to issue joint statements with the United States along the lines of, we don't favor a change in the status quo by the use of military force, the status quo between China and Taiwan, that is. So some of these symbolic actions, again, we might not think they're important, but for Taiwan, they are very important.
Now, lastly, the small Pacific island nation of Tuvalu will head to the polls on Friday against a backdrop of intense geopolitical competition and China's rising influence in the region. What could the outcome of the elections mean for China and Taiwan?
So this is one of those 12 countries around the world that still has formal diplomatic relations with the Republic of China on Taiwan. It does not have diplomatic relations with China. But we saw on January 15th, shortly after the election here in Taiwan, that Nauru switched relations from Taiwan to China. And now there's a lot of speculation that Tuvalu, as another Pacific island country, will follow. I mentioned earlier symbolism, and for Taiwan, the symbolism of having countries enter into formal diplomatic relations is still very important, because it does say that Taiwan is a sovereign country. It has the ability to enter into diplomatic relations. So Taiwan does not want to see those countries disappear. But for the same reasons, it's important to China to persuade these remaining countries to disappear. Not all at once, but a little bit over time has been China's strategy. And I think now that we know that William Lai is going to become president on May 20th, we could expect to see China persuade those remaining 12 one by one to give up their relations with China and with Taiwan, I should say, and establish relations with China. And this is a development that Taiwan hopefully does not see, but it's inevitable.
Ross Feingold, thank you for joining NewsHour, and thank you for your analysis.